jejunum and you have the ileum. Remember that? Okay. And it was what we call a proximal jejunal atresia, high up.
Okay, it's high up. Okay, because we kind of thought it was either mid or distal. I think originally, no. Okay,
No.
maybe that's
So you
what I
got,
thought.
so you got your stomach comes like this, and then it's called your duodenum, right? Here's your liver, right? And so then your small bowel, this is duodenum. Then right about underneath this, back by your spine, there's an area here where your jejunum starts.
Okay.
It's called the ligaments.
Okay.
This area here. And this bowel then went up like this, came across. It was all dilated like this, like that. And this back to actual size. Oh, I did have my microscopic glass, maybe bigger. And then right in continuity was this piece of the bowel like this size, the small bowel.
Okay.
All right. Well, when you have this piece of bowel here is pretty much worthless. It won't work.
Okay.
Here's the blood supply to it like that. Okay. And then the mesentery goes like this. Okay. This is it's all bulbous and swollen up, and it's because it's been obstructed all this time. There's just a web here. It wasn't a block. It wasn't a chip. Okay. So you go back. I went back to about here, but still, you've got something about that, actually about that big. You're trying to do something like that big.
Oh, okay.
And that's not. That is. It may work. And some people say, well, just hook it up, but that's too much of a funnel. That's too much of a discrepancy between this stream and this stream.
Okay.
So what I do in that case is something. I go along this side of it. Anyway, this side is what we call the anti-mesenteric, the side on the other side of the mesenteric. Oh, thank you. And so what I do is I taper this. I take them down to about here and everything. We got rid of all this, right? I cut all this side off, and then so I got sutures along here, taper it on down to a point where then I can then cut across here on an angle like this. Open this up. So the discrepancy in size is not so great.
Okay.
Matter of fact.
You have a picture?
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
You don't have a picture.
No, and I just want to.
I don't know if everyone else wants to see, but I'll see.
Anyway, that's my baby sitting with my grandson. That's the other side. I talked to my son. Don't worry, we're taking good care of him. Sending this picture. Anyway, where's the picture? See the pictures? Okay. So you get an idea. Here's the tapering. Okay, you really can't. And this is the small bowel starting here. So there's not that much difference in size between the large and small bowel. These are all just the little stitches on the outside. So you think if these are the stitches you're seeing here, and then you take, and so then you're sewing something that's tapered down with these stitches here to this piece of bowel here that I bring up to here.
Okay.
So that's the sutures you see this way, across this way. Okay, that makes sense to you?
Sure.
So now, even though this is still dilated up a little bit, it's not this big bulbous thing up here that's may or may not function.
Okay.
So the main thing you're concerned about is, though, you worry about when you get a leak along here. But as you can see, this is nice and pink.
Okay.
There's no, the blood supply is excellent. It's nice and pink, and that's good. All right. You get a it's the same picture. There's the belly button there. Okay. And that's just the. Again, this bowel here, before you hook it up, I put a catheter in here and I put saline, salt water, all the way down, make sure there's not any atresions. So that's why it's pulling up a little bit. The actual size, when you open it up without even, it's only about that big.
Okay,
the
this
size
is it. That's it with saline in it?
Well, saline, it swells up a little bit. It makes it, again, it's just good because it washes out any crud that's downstream a little bit. But also, the reason that she was past meconium is, you know that she passed meconium a little bit? That's because if this was down farther, there's not enough to get through. But this bowel here makes its own juice in meconium.
Oh, okay.
That's why we have a high atresia. This is a high, not a low atresia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So we just have to watch this and see if it functions and opens up and everything.
Okay.
Because if I go back to here, you just really can't do that.
Okay.
You can't go back into here, so you're way back in the back, and you got rid of a lot of important bowel here.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So you feel good about it though? Like
Yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, I would have been out here an hour earlier if I didn't have this tapering to do.
Okay.
But it's something you don't have to do a whole lot of. But when you have this situation where it's high up, you can't go back to where. See, if you had this was down further, I can get rid of a lot of bowel till I get down to a place where it's not so dilated up.
Okay.
Because it's been going against this blockage for how many months now?
Yeah.
It's like boom, boom, boom.
Months, yeah.
and it stretches out. And it gets, the wall is all thickened and it
So
just
this,
doesn't work.
this is wider now because it waited for all those months,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, couldn't
I
get through,
gotcha.
yeah, it's stretched out. It's
I
like
gotcha.
a,
Yep.
yeah, it's like a, like a stream that's
Right.
blocked up and then up above it, but, and it's a worthless piece, it won't work.
So how much did you have to cut in centimeters?
I'm not talking about that much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
much.
Okay.
You've got 220 centimeters of
Oh,
bowel
that's
in your
good.
newborn.
Okay,
It's
great.
8 or 10, it's not
Great.
that a shortcut at all.
And they said that her anus was kind of close.
It's not.
It's not? Okay.
I looked at Dr. Clark, mentioned that to me, I said, no, I don't think it is.
Okay.
You can tell later as she gets older, but even
Okay, it
if
didn't
if
look
the
like it was
anterior,
any issue.
no, her perineum looks fine.
Okay.
The distance between her vagina and her anus.
Yeah, okay.
To me, and I see,
You see a
people
lot
have,
of-
I see a lot of people that have, babies that have anterior anuses, that's even controversial, whether they do anything about it or not. Hers,
Okay.
but hers,
And
hers
hers
is
is
not,
fine.
when I say
Okay.
anterior means in front.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have that.
Okay.
It's fine.
Cool.
Well, it sounds good.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to sit here and think, well, okay, you've tapered all this, don't have a leak along here.
Yeah.
But, it's nice and pink, and then you think, well, you hook up here, you hook that, even though there is still, when you're all done, you still have, in reality, coming around, okay, remember, you have coming around here, tapering on down, there still is a discrepancy in size.
Okay.
But you can just see this, it's there, but it's not this kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Now, signs of a leak that we're looking for.
Oh, she got real sick.
Okay. Like distended and.
Yeah, and if you started seeing her like, yeah, or if you started
Fevers
seeing
or
free
something?
air in her belly, let's say it's 4, right now if you saw air in her belly, that'd be normal.
Okay.
That's because we've been interaction, air outside the bowel, we call it
Okay.
free air. But if you saw 4 or 5 days from now, free air, and you started thinking, and what you do is then you would put you put down her, she's gonna have this, her oral gastric tube.
That'll stay for.
Yeah, that's gonna stay
a
until we
while.
know things are functioning.
Okay.
Yeah, if you thought there was a question, you put some dye down and you shoot it down through here and see what it does. If you see it leak, then you got a problem. Also, these things can take 10 to 14 days to open up. They
That's
may
what you
open up
kinda
sooner,
talked about, yeah.
So if we get out 10 days or something, and we're thinking, why hasn't this opened up yet? We may just say, well, let's squirt some dye down and see if it goes through.
So after 4 or 6 weeks, when we go home with baby, what are we looking for as far as issues?
Well, number one, I'm hoping it's sooner than 4 or 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
Maybe-
saying when we
maybe
go
give you a bad
home and
sign.
after.
What issues? Just if you see, let's say the baby has frequently episodes where it throws up or throws up any bile,
Okay.
that means that your bile is coming in here from your liver, right? And so if you're seeing bile throwing up, it means it's not going downstream, but it's backing up into
Sure.
so green stuff. You saw all the bile she has.
Yeah.
I mean, that tube is green stuff. I mean, because that was all, it can't get, it's
Right.
all accumulating and backing up. So what we watch for is to see whether the oral gastric output, we always say NG because it uses NG tube, and babies put oral gastric, OG tube. We watch to see if that output changes to more of a clear color.
Okay.
And we watch to see if it gets less volume, so we know what's going through. And yeah, that's all you do, just watch and see. That can be anywhere from 5, 6 days to 10 to 12, 10 to 15 days.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
If we didn't do this tapering, I'd be much more concerned that it's not going to work at all. Now, let's say the whole thing doesn't work. Then you can always bring up and hook the bowel up here to this part.
Okay.
Okay, so
You
there's
can
a
always-
plan
there's
B if
there's a plan
something.
B if
Okay.
something you just hook up here, take a piece of bowel and bring it up to the side of the duodenum here.
And I think the nurse was saying, you wouldn't operate again for like 5 weeks or something, or it would be,
That's all. I mean, that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
No, if you had a leak, you got to operate. If you have
Okay.
things leaking.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
If you have a baby, yeah. If you have there's other scenarios where we have babies with infection and you operate and you're not getting better, you wait about 5 to 6 weeks because when you go in, it's a lot easier to operate. But that's not if you have a baby leak or something.
You
can't
gotta
do it.
get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good news.
Sounds
we
as
weren't
positive
dealing more
as we
than,
can.
well, we're not dealing with more than one nutritious.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's that's extremely positive.
Yeah, that's
She
good.
doesn't have shortcut, right?
No.
So that's
And-
very positive.
Bad thing is she's kind of cute.
Really? Yeah.
You're gonna have
my
a
baby
problem.
girl.
Yeah, it's
No,
probably.
that's okay.
See, I had 4 sons.